would ask where I think you guys want to start, but I'm pretty sure Cassidy can announce for us where we're going with this one.
Oh God.
Noobs!
Yeah.
In case you had not heard already 1,000 times, Noob Central doing what they do best, getting into the playoffs late, and taking down the one and only Archon Storm. Slim, why don't you take us into that a little bit more and tell us what happened?
I mean, it was pretty interesting. Like this first week of playoffs, it was taking forever for all the games to get played. So we were kind of taking whatever we could and going off of that. Hertz Donut started Archon Storm off with a 3-0. That was the only match that had gotten played. And then I believe it was Verde and his opponent who played. Verde went down 1-3, and then I think we casted Alec versus Clark Kent on stream, and Alec 3-0'd Clark Kent. So at that point, we were kind of looking at it saying, well, okay, Noob takes one more match, it's over. And then I'm just randomly hanging out online, and I see that D Lyman's doing battle with a friend. And then eventually Cassie messages me, and he just says, it's over. The Noobs.
Yeah, I'm pretty
was
sure I
really
got something
impressive.
very similar to that. Cassie, did you get to see that, or were you just informed immediately afterwards?
No. So I remember we were casting Clark Kent versus Alec, and then while we were casting that, Verde was like giving us updates of his match, and he lost
Yep.
3-1. And then afterward, we were having a little, a fun time with our Team Rank 5 call, watching how everybody else was doing because we were already through. And D Lyman goes in, and he messages Mange, and he's like, "Oh, I got fucking swept." And we're like, "No, that didn't happen. He's lying." And so we got him into our Skype call, and he's like, "No, guys, I legit got swept." And he was like giving us the talk while he was putting in his results. He's like, D Lyman, matches 1-0. Matches won by opponent 3. And we still didn't believe him. And then the site updated, and we were like, oh, yeah, he's for real. He lost 3-0. So,
You know what it reminds me a lot of is like when you're watching any sport, a pro sport out there, and I'm just gonna go with because I live in the Northeast. This typically happens when both the Red Sox and the Yankees are good at the same time, and they're fighting for that coveted spot in the AL East, and one needs the other to lose. And it'll be like the middle of the third inning. The teams will be transitioning on and off the field, and you'll hear them cheer because the loss that they needed somebody else to get happened. You know, and that's kind of how I felt watching things shake out this weekend. Whether it be a pure domination. I mean, we can't take it away from Noob Central at all. I believe
oh,
there's
yeah.
what was it, 12-1 for.
Yeah, I tallied it up.
I mean, that's incredible.
That was just between specific seeds. If you factor Hearthstone in, it's to 4. But wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Especially amongst the 1, 2, and 3 seeds of any team. You know, if you got a 1, even if it's just 9-1 coming from 1, 2, and 3, that's you're done. Like there's no coming back from that.
No.
The reaction was just priceless because nobody wants to see a repeat champion 2 seasons in a row. And Archon Storm, I mean, not only do they give off the vibe of being like the New York Yankees because they have the highest PR in the league and like the highest salary in the league, but then Verde like went in all in with those similes and metaphors in that article that he got interviewed for, and it was just so easy to want them to lose to the Noobs, and then they did, and like THL just exploded for like 8 hours. It was great.
Yeah, there was a thread somewhere where it was just a whole bunch of N's and O's, and you just knew. Like you can't.
And when you turn the O's into PogChamps and Twitch chat, oh man.
Actually, I think I was in your stream when I saw that.
Might have been.
Imagine if we only had Discord at the time.
Oh god, would have been ridiculous. So we do have this. You might look at that and go, okay, it's not that close of a game. It's not that interesting. What makes it interesting is the fact that two teams with arguably, I'm doing air quotes over here, such a great disparity in skill to have such a blowout in favor of the underdog. Yeah, I said underdog.
You did.
Oh, drink.
So, um, let's take it to a match that was quite the nail biter, and
Oh, dude.
also another upset by the underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Mm.
true.
I gotta remind myself.
We got
Underdog.
another one there because Slimch
Oh,
gave the yeah. That's two drink.
Oh God, Tito's was not a smart choice tonight.
get him.
I'm not even rushing. Come on now. Which is weird, by the way. That Tito's, it's an American-made vodka with a Latin name and a Russian drink. I'm confused by it.
Wow.
Right?
Globalization, man.
But the Harry Generals and the Gosu Casuals is who we were talking about. Sorry, there was a long pause between those two thoughts. Um, we have our very own Gosu Casual here. Going into that match, how did you guys feel, Slimsh?
I mean, we felt pretty good. It was pretty awkward with the holiday break. It was, I mean, I wouldn't say that we were unprepared, but it was probably one of the more unprepared weeks that we had. I mean, when games were coming close, we definitely had some conversations between some of us about strategy and everything. So I don't think anyone felt unprepared for their matches, but at the same time, we got surprised a little bit. There were a couple 3-0s in favor of the Harry Generals, and that's something just really special and really powerful when it comes to winning uh, a playoff match.
Mm. Cassie, you got to cast a few of these matches and be a part of a few of these,
Mm-hmm.
right? As you're watching once again, that because the Harry Generals like to do this thing where they leave Jedi until Sunday night in the most important match. Um, so as you're watching this play out through the week, do you believe in the casuals, or do you think the Harry Generals are gonna do the underdog thing and come through and win? Like as the week's going on, how's your feelings towards this matchup going? Yes, I did say underdogs again.
Oh.
So we were watching it. Man, Team Rank 5, the more we think about it, the more we need to like find something to do besides THL because it's like all we talk about. But
No.
we kept watching it, and as soon as I think it was Necro Havoc got the 3-0 sleep, and looking at the matchup, that was the match that we thought Gosu kind of had in the bag
Mm-hmm.
because it was like 120 PR difference or something crazy. And we were like, Gosu will take that. They'll win 2 out of the next 4, and they'll go on to win it. And once he got that sweep, there would be no more funny business with points and maybe messing one team up. And so then we were like, oh crap, now it's anybody's game. And so then going into that last match, it was so perfect because it was winner take all no matter what. And Jedi and Adam were like dead even in PR. And so at that point, I mean, you throw out the labels and the favorites and all that went out the window because it came down to 2 even Hearthstone players and who would play better. So it was really cool.
Yeah, we didn't even actually have the full picture of that Jedi Adam match because Ching and Boom Boom Hall played just like six
A
hours
few hours
before,
before,
six
yeah.
hours before, something like that in the afternoon. So we didn't get the full picture until then. So that really, because that made the matches tied at that point, which was really exciting. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was crazy.
Because we agreed to cast that match as well as well, I can't think of who played just before them. Gideon Echo and
Monkey Warlord.
Monkey Warlord. So we,
Yeah.
we had agreed upon casting those Sunday matches on Saturday. So going into this 24-hour notice, we didn't know it was going to be bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs. You
No.
know, it just happened to line up perfectly like that. And Monkey Warlord and Gideon were playing for bragging rights. I think they both represent their team well, and I always love to see a team that has quote unquote nothing to fight for still fighting for their honor.
Mhm.
Never give up, never surrender. Galaxy Quest. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. But as you said, we were waiting on Eric because that was one of the seeds that we thought was going to be crucial. And then also, Jedi was when we talked about this on highlighting it on Tavern Talk last time. We kind of pointed those two seeds to be the seeds that needed to win, and they both came through for their team. And unfortunately for Slim, she joins me on the bench in the off season. But I know you're like me, man. You're probably sitting here enjoying it. With that, it's nice. While I would never want to lose and be out of the playoffs, if you got to have a playoff like we're having right now, it's kind of nice to sit back and just watch it all unfold without the stress of preparing for your match that week. But I'm not going to be doing it again next season. That's for damn sure.
There you go. That's the spirit. I'll
um,
say that too.
so then we had Team Rank 5 in Supreme, which, damn, man, I still can't believe that anybody could get through the 1-2 punch that was Supreme this season. Especially when it comes down to a winner take all sort of format. Especially with, a 1 seed like Dear Jason coming into a team that, no offense, Cassie, you guys don't have a 1 seed. It changes
Nope,
every week.
we have no. Well, we might now. We'll
He's
see.
on the rise. He's on the
We
rise.
think we've got him. We got him back.
Well, does that mean he's been unleashed?
He's been unleashed. He was
no-
unleashed on this very show about 6 weeks ago. Has not lost since, and he really put the exclamation point on the unleash when he decided to beat MV Parker. So, yeah, we feel pretty good about that.
Sorry, you said unleashed several times there, and Tito's does not go well with multiple hits. Yeah, dude, he's definitely making a statement. I think he's buying into the unleashed hype. I wouldn't even call it hype. It's only hype if you.
Oh, he has. Did you see his Discord avatar?
Yes, I did. It's the Unleash the Hounds. I love it.
Got the hound.
I love it, man. That's the kind of stuff we need. The little swagger, a little personality. We haven't been able to. We tried as we may to get him onto the show tonight. We couldn't get him here, and we've tried multiple times. Eventually, we will have the beast that is in bulk here to talk more about it.
No, but yeah, we I know some people felt good about our match going into it. I was not one of them because I thought if there was a team that was matched up to just really kind of ruin us, it was Supreme. Because that 1-2 punch, like, we are already weak in number 1, and then their number 2 seed might as well be a number 1.
Yeah.
And we've kind of, like, we have a good 2 seed, but not that. Like, they had 2 1 seeds on their team, essentially, and we have 0. That doesn't look good on paper. And then even in the 3, they were favored going into it. And 4, we had the big advantage, and then 5 was kind of a toss-up. And so going into the week, we didn't feel too good about it, but we started off. I was able to get a 3-1 win, and then Captain Murdoch was able to get a 3-2 win, and then Mange got swept. And then Imbolc came into that Skype call Friday night, and he's like, I got him. 3-1. And we just threw a party. And then Jesus decided to talk a little too much smack on my stream, and we were not a fan of that. And so we threw him out there on Saturday night, even though he was hoping to plan to play on Sunday. He was on, Grim was on. We're like, nope, you're going to go play. You're going to back it up. And Grim swept his sarcastic ass. And it felt so good to watch anybody get what they had coming to them. But we still got to advance, and Grim got to go into the offseason feeling good. So everybody kind of won in that regard.
Everybody wins there.
Don't talk that kind of trash in Hearthstone. Just don't do it.
Dude, you don't listen. If you back the smallest dog into a corner, it's still going to bite your ass. You know what I mean? You never, even if you think you got it wrapped up, sure shot.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't even know. I don't even know when you look at the PR. Don't get me wrong though. I gotta say this. All right, Jesus talked smack. He got his ass kicked for it. But I will not take away anything from Jesus's play from midpoint on this season. Like, definitely shout outs to Jesus for stepping it up and looking real good towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely has been relying on getting that practice in before a match, and we just said, nope, we're not practicing with you, so you might as well go play because you did what you did. And
you guys knew you had it won at that point, though. There was nothing he could do to ruin the series.
It was a good time to teach him a lesson. I do have to say, though, man, I talked to Mange right after he got swept. We were in line to play some HOTS. I was waiting for him to finish his matchup to play. And I loved the way he came out of that match. Mange was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Pissed and salty and just straight, like, here's the thing. It wasn't even directed at anybody but himself. And while I never want anybody to have any self-loathing, I love a guy that pushes themselves to the point of, like, I know I could do better. I want to do better. I should have done better. And especially when you see that coming from a captain, unlike some captains who will sit there and bash themselves, He was ready. Like
Yeah.
he's already looking at the next week, thinking, how do I improve on that performance next week? And I loved hearing that out of him right after that loss.
And we feel good because now he gets to um, go from being sacrificed up on top to playing in the 3 slot. So
Oh
we're hoping
man.
Mange turns that anger into a sweep of his own
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, well, he's got a throwdown, which we'll talk a little bit more about with the one and only Jedi. But we'll get more into that in a minute. I wanted to finish up talking about the Angry Chicken fan club, the underdogs of the season. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Dark Horse.
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm calling them underdogs, but I think I just wanted more.
Yeah. Tavern Talk episode 1. Dark Horse.
Versus, a team that made it to the championship. Um, I don't know. I think this one ultimately kind of shook out, uh, maybe the way we expected. I mean, yes, Angry Chicken
Yeah.
Fan Club definitely has a lot of great players. One of the greatest additions to the THL this season, or any season for that matter, uh, both with personalities they brought into the league as well as caliber of play. What are your guys' thoughts on it overall?
And Zenergy is just, they are rolling. Like, when is the last time they had a bad week? It's been a
Man.
while. And they're beating anybody, or they tied Team Rank 5 last week of the season, but they're just like, I have yet to see anybody really take them down in a long time. And they have the roster to do it, and they got all the way to the final last year. And I just think they are they're definitely the favorite at this stage. And I even, in the round of 8, I thought they were the favorite going into it.
Mhm.
They're just playing really good Hearthstone. They're really close. They're tight knit. They practice a ton. And that definitely showed itself against Angry Chicken Fan Club when the bright lights came on. And this week, we'll see if it does again. But they're a tough team. They're probably the toughest out left of the 4. So
Can you disagree with that, Slimsh?
No, all along, like the Ghost of Casuals did take the 1 seed, but we had a little help with that. There were a couple DQs in last week that helped us get some points for that. But ultimately, all along, it kind of felt like Zenergy really had the rightful place up there. They had it all season. They had it all along. No, they really didn't have a bad week. I think we gave them a pretty good run for their money when we went up against them, similar to Team Rank 5, but I mean, that's really all you get. You didn't really get a convincing win. It seems like they're really tough to take down in the playoffs if they've been so consistent throughout the season. And you look up
Mm.
and down their team, they even pulled in a sub the week of the playoffs. They pulled in an old friend Twiz who got the 3-2 win for them. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're
that
gonna
certainly
pull in
doesn't.
a sub, jeez.
yeah, talk
Yeah,
about a ringer off the bench.
not bad. Like he was very narrowly like a qualifying sub, right,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the PR goes.
Hmm.
So yeah, he
Makes it
did
a
great.
no-brainer.
They've got
Yeah,
connections.
I, I want to say
Yeah.
it was like a 460. I think Twist was at, which you know
Yeah.
he's got to go ahead and win a game to make. In case those of you who don't have access to the free agent list didn't know this, he threw his name back in the hat again for this season, and he's got to go do something stupid like increase his PR by this performance. Could have thrown it to make him a little cheaper for those of us that want him.
Wonder who they
Uh,
are.
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I mean, Katota took down Sam, and I think
Yeah.
now I don't. I think it's pretty easy to say, given recent performance and past performance, Katota's probably the best player left in this thing of the 4 teams that are still in it. I think he's the only perfect PR remaining. He's playing good Hearthstone. He's a threat to bring any class at any time. And so if you're Zenergy, you feel pretty good throwing him out there against anybody that's left,
Hmm.
period.
Yeah, but I think when you look at Noob Central, right? Um, which we could, I believe we've discussed everybody from week 1. Yeah, so let's just rotate right into week 2. We'll skip that segment in the middle there, guys. Let's get into week 2 because I want to make this point about Katota and his matchup as Noob Central faces off against Synergy in week 2 of the playoffs here. We know that Noob Central is not going to shy away just because they're in the spotlight and they're facing Goliath.
Mhm.
They're perfectly happy with being David. I don't know if they're happy with being David, but they're comfortable at least with it. They're not gonna shy away from anybody in this league. And I think if you look at who is left out of the remaining teams, if you were to say who's going to give Katoto a run for their money, I'm throwing Alec out there. And that's not just based on his PR. We've streamed him, I believe, twice this season and seen strong performances out of him both times. Um, and hey, on a salty Saturday, anything can happen. How do you guys see this matchup between the two playing out?
Ooh. I'm flipping. Cassie, you go first.
I love Noob Central. You guys are
Welcome back.
very near and dear to my heart. I had the season playing with you guys that brought me back into THL and getting super involved in it. But I think the run ends here. I hope I'm wrong, because I love rooting for the underdog.
Oh
But
God, Underdog City here.
if I had to put money on this match, and man, I hope THL gets to the point where we can bet on matches like with a website or something.
Oh God.
DraftKings for THL.
Yeah, my money would really go to Zenergy here because, like I said, I think they're the favorite that's left. They have yet to give us a reason to pick against them. Because even with Archon Storm, we saw little chinks in the armor throughout the season, right? Like their number 3 slot didn't quite go as planned, et cetera, et cetera. Zenergy has been kind of what we thought they were since the very beginning, and I just don't see that stopping yet here. So I think Zenergy is going to win this. I think they're going to win it kind of convincingly. Like I would say, of the 5 matches, I expect them to win 4.
Ooh.
So wait, out of the 5 you expect, so you see there being a loss in there?
Yeah, sure, it's Hearthstone.
Okay, all right. So
think
you're
that's
not looking at
happening in
any
the-
specific matchup, just
No, I think somewhere Noob Central will get them, but I think overall they're going to take the whole thing.
I'd look to the 5C. Loafster's just
Yeah.
about double diamond in
Yeah,
PR.
Loaster's a really strong player.
Yeah. Wow.
Drake?
Yeah. Don't
yeah.
count the underdog then.
Well, now he is.
I don't know. Look at. I'm just pulling up the team page here. I'm noticing that Synergy and Noob Central totaled up. They differ. They're 4 PR, 5 PR off of each other. I think that's mainly due to that 5C discrepancy. They'll definitely look to take a big win there. I think they could knock off one elsewhere. I think it'll be pretty close, but
Well,
I would-
maybe
yeah.
Zenergy could catch a bone there, and yeah, buddy. Loafster has yet to submit his classes.
Oh geez. Well,
Uh-oh.
that's gotta happen real soon then, huh?
Yeah, he's got about an hour and a half.
an hour and a
according to
half,
my
yeah.
clock.
Well, that would be really unfortunate.
I do know he's a West Coast / late night guy. He's a family man, so he probably already has his 4 classes in mind, and he'll log on and get them in, and the scare will end, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll get there. I don't know. I remember I'm going to be really interested to see the match between Alec and Katoa because I played both these guys this season and they did not bring your typical stuff. They had a few little exciting things here and there. So I don't know. These guys I don't think anything's off the table for them. And we might see some really unique stuff. Even though this is the playoffs, they might bring something crazy to the table. And I know that might be the case throughout the other teams. I know VendiClick likes to mess with a lot of other stuff too, and maybe that echoes throughout their team. Yeah, I know Zenergy is just a really strong team. I probably expect them to take 3 out of 5 of the matches, but we'll see. Those noobs.
Those noobs, you can't count them out.
Yeah.
You just can't. Which brings us to Team Rank 5 and the Harry Generals. I'm always excited for matchups. Some a little more so than others, There's watching football and there's watching 2 teams you enjoy watching play football. And this isn't a hit at anybody here, but I've seen more casting matches of Team Rank 5 and the Harry Generals than a lot of other teams. Or even when I'm not casting their matches, Mage and Cassies are guys I interact with on the regular. I think there is a lot. I think there's a lot to this matchup. More than just what paper suggests or does not suggest here. I want to save Cassie for last here, unless he wants to jump in on some points.
No, that's okay. You guys go ahead.
Slimch, let's start with you and the way you see this matchup playing out and the spots you are most interested in.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know. We uh, looking at the Harry Generals versus the Gosu Casuals, kind of looked at the 4 seed Captain Murdoch versus Necro Havoc. In our case, it was Michael. Kind of looked at that one. I think you need to reconsider Necro Havoc a little bit with the
Hmm.
way he's turned it around. I don't know if that one's going to be um, as disparate as you might think. Um, Jedi 2 and 3 seeds are really close. Jedi and Boom Boom Hall. Boom Boom Hall's very close to Cassie. He's also very close to Jing Buddha. You guys have had some interesting 2 seed encounters there. I
Hmm.
think those are close. I think it's. I really think it's going to come down to that 4 seed. Um, if Murdoch gets the win, as he looks like he should, because you guys are just so well rounded there. Like the 4 seed should just be such a power spot. Mange is looking to take revenge. I think those two will be huge. I have to say, I think the Unleashed Imbolc is going to hit an end.
Uh-oh.
I think Andy Rogers is going to pull out something special. I think he hasn't had quite the season that he's wanted to, and he brought some unique choices against me that didn't quite pan out correctly. I got pretty lucky. We had some weird games. Um,
It got
I
weird.
don't know. I think Andy's looking strong. I don't know. It's really hard to call this one. It was really close. It was pretty close for us in the Harry Journals. It was pretty close for us in Team Rank 5 in the regular season as the Gosu Casuals. I don't know. I've seen Team Rank 5 like constantly in their little room in Discord now though.
Oh yeah, they live
They're
there.
doing they're doing so much behind the scenes. I've got to believe that it's going to pay off in the win. I just don't know how.
Yeah, I
I
heard
think
they
I
I
think
heard
the
they moved
Unleashed
like a
Imbolc is going
couch and a futon into that little room over there on Discord.
something like that.
I mean, I'm in Discord during my off period right now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we want it, man. We got the fire in our eyes. We're hungry.
it's my new, like I said, it's my new home even when I'm home. um, I have to say that I almost completely agree with Slimch on everything except the fact that I don't think this is where we see the end of Imbolc's run.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Uh-oh.
He's
it,
not going anywhere.
here's why. I am a huge proponent of momentum in competitive sports or activities is key, and I think there are very few out there who would argue that from mid-season on, there's anybody with greater momentum going than in bulk here. There's some players that have had momentum all season long, Slimch, um, but you know what? You could get complacent in that. And as Slimch just said, I don't believe Andy had the season Andy thought he was going to have. Then again, running through the 1 seed on the red side was it was a gauntlet.
It's a buzzsaw, man.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it's crazy. Um, but I don't think you could deny. And here's the thing: Impulk's not just a hot hand who's getting lucky. We've said several times on the show he's got a great Hearthstone mind. Like,
This is a guy who's finished top 16 in, like, ESLs.
y-
I mean, I don't know what in the world happened to him last season. I wasn't on the team to fluff his ego, because I have noticed I am the resident in bulk ego fluffer on Team Rank 5. Everybody else wants to tear him down and make fun of him, and I just make sure he knows that he's a great player and we unleashed him, you know? So maybe that had something to do with it.
it could, you know, where I see this matchup really playing out, and I don't see uh, I don't see Jesus beating Petrucci.
Mm.
I really don't see that happening for no other reason than knowing I've played Petrucci before. I've watched Jesus play. I don't think I've ever squared up against Jesus.
Mhm.
I see Petrucci on a regular basis just making plays that I don't know if Jesus would make. Now, with that being said, I think if the Harry Generals want to win this matchup, they need to find a win. Both the 5 spot needs to be a lock, and they need to find a way to stop in bulk, and they need to find a way to stop Cassidy. I do not think I think Mange is one of the strongest 1.5s in our league.
And he's playing at the 3.
I call him a 1.5 because I think he's on the better end of 2s. I don't quite think he's in the 1 spot yet.
Oh no, he's a trash 1. Don't hold back.
So I'm trying to be polite here because
He's
I
a
do think
trash 1.
I think
join the club, man.
Trash.
I
Who
do
are you,
think
D-lineman?
very highly of him in the 2 spot. So I don't want to like sound insulting coming off of that and saying how we really feel about him in the 1 spot. However, after watching Jedi last week, I don't know if I could bet against the guy. The team needed a win, stepped up as a leader, stepped up as, he's in the spotlight, which I know is not something he doesn't like the pressure, the added pressure. He had to win. He had the added pressure. He came through. So am I writing him off? No, but I think it's kind of hard to beat Mange there. So I'm putting it on you, Boom Boom Hall. I'm putting it on you, Detrucci. And then, Andy, you got to find a way to stop the in-bulk. Grab your collar, leash that bitch back up. All right, Cassie, let's hear it.
So last week I think was the moment for us at Team Rank 5 where we felt like we finally got to the point where we saw ourselves preseason. We constantly all year felt like we were just a little below our expectations, and then last week taking down the Titan that was supreme really got the confidence going, but also kind of fueled that desire. Like watching other top seeds fall around the league, we decided, this is ours. We're going to win it. And so we have been practicing and talking like crazy this coming week. And I agree with you, Steve. I think I really like us in the 3 and the 4 spot. And I think as long as we can take one of the 3 other spots where I would say Imbolc might be a slight underdog. Let me drink.
Underdog that's been unleashed.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's still a slight underdog there. And I would agree Jesus is an underdog against Detrucci, but man, we have been practicing so much with Jesus this week. And then Boom Boom and our classes got submitted. His classes kind of line up well with mine, but I think we're still pretty even there. I think that's kind of a coin flip. And if we lose all 3 of those, then hey, they were the better team and they deserve to win. Because there is nobody we'd rather send up against Andy than Imbolc. I think we all agree on that. And Jesus is Jesus, and Murdoch has been really turning it around. And Mange and we always joke that if one of us gets a win, we're kind of like a tag team, and hopefully one of us wins every week, and we're good to go. So we feel good about it. We feel like we belong. It's the 4 Titans of THL that are left, and it's just really cool to see these teams that have put in a whole season of work, and then the bright lights came on, and these teams came through. So we're definitely pleased with where we are, but we want to go further. And I think the same can be said for every team in PHL.
Definitely. By the way, Mange and Jesus also classes to be submitted.
Yeah,
they'll get them in.
I
love
think this
to go
is
to the 11th
strategy.
hour.
You know what I think this is? I think this is strategy. I'm putting Team Rank 5 on blast. This is strategy.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have submitted unless we had Tavern Talk. So definitely strategy.
Wait until the last minute.
Interesting.
Don't let them know what's coming. They're hidden until both people select anyways.
Well, yeah.
But it does give less time to prepare. Where were we? Sorry, Tito's. So back to skip back up to some recent changes within the league. Did we get approval on this?
Yes. What we have here in the notes is for sure happening.
Okay, so we got this. This is okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't breaking any confidentiality clauses here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Jedi did something once, it went poorly, and he blames me.
Uh-oh.
Probably accurate.
What happened?
I don't know. All right.
Oh, Jedi.
So, changes coming up for next season. Took us a long time to figure this out. How long do you think we've thrown this around? I mean, it's been
we've been emailing about it for almost a month now. We've had 2 Skype meetings about it as a board. It's been a lot of time. So if you are in the off season right now, you need to listen because I know you want to go resident sleeper and you're depressed that Hearthstone isn't happening at the same level it was. But what we're about to announce directly affects off-season free agents and player acquisition. So listen up. Stop making dank memes.
So Uh, as Cassie said, after much deliberation, we've decided that there's going to be a change to the PR cap for teams as a whole next season. We used to be at an 1850 PR cap, and we're going to lower that down to 1800 PR, which means that you effectively have less money, PR money, to spend on your players.
Yes.
Um, the kind of thought behind this, and I'll let these guys elaborate on it, is to create better parity between the players. Um, who wants to take it from here? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, so we looked at it, and the issue was raised that, and it's a very valid issue. THL came into existence as kind of a quote unquote like everyman's league. I know Mange and I and others have thrown out the joke like it's kind of like a beer league softball analogy. Like, we're showing up, we're playing this game, but we're deep down we're mostly amateurs. And as this season especially went on, we noticed that particularly in the 4 seed and Team Rank 5, this is us as well, but we sacrificed in other areas. Um, the 4 seed was getting very heavy with talent. Like Hertz made legend, Captain Murdoch made legend, and we just kind of stopped and said, hey, are we phasing out the quote unquote everyman that we've built THL around? And the answer was yes. And so we looked at how to solve that. And we think deep down, we looked at some teams and we looked at some solutions, and we thought teams were getting away with playing very high PR players in lower slots and not giving up enough anywhere else. And so by lowering the overall PR cap, even though it's only 50 points, by lowering that cap, the idea is that, okay, if you want to play a legend player in your 4 seed, your number 1 seed is going to be a very weak number 1 seed, or your number 2 seed is going to be a very weak number 2 seed. Like somewhere along the area, you have to make a sacrifice when you're building your team, and that adds to the strategy on the side of captains, and that adds to the value of a coherent team. If you want to stay together, then you can't sign players with a super high PR to begin with and expect not to lose them in a season, et cetera, et cetera. And so that 50 points doesn't look like a lot on paper, and we talked about that. But we looked around the league and the cuts and the changes that would have to be made, and we feel really good going forward about forcing captains to make very meaningful decisions when it comes to building their roster rather than just stacking PR everywhere and not really being punished for it.
Right. What the 1800 number going down from 50 is going to do, it's actually going to be in combination with a few other things we're
Mm-hmm.
mentioning. It's going to, if your team has like a so-called over-budgeted player, like if there's a player at a specific seed that's like way higher than if you look across other teams, you're going to start to feel pressure in those slots where you're just way higher than the competition. I think it's going to put pressure on creating some more balanced teams. For the most part, there's still creativity in building teams. Like you can have a higher PR 5 seed, for example. You're just going to be a little bit more well-rounded in the middle. Um, as it currently was with 1850, we saw it with a few other teams. Like you could get away with having like 450 plus players in your first 3 seeds, which are basically legend caliber. That's not very everyman like, but I don't know. I mean, depending on how you build your team, it's still possible. It's just
Mm-hmm.
there's going to have to be changes that get made. Whereas maybe prior to they'd be kind of small.
An interesting point was just brought up in chat, and I know Slimps, you can't see it, so I'll read it for you.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and one of the changes that we've actually made will address this. Cardinal Orange, who I'm actually not familiar with who that
Me
Battle.net
neither.
tag is associated with, but thank you for joining us, sir, or madam, because I don't know who you are. But they brought up the point of, so what if you have 5 great players, but they're new to the league and they lie about their rank, so on and so forth? Well, another change we have made, because what we've seen now, we call this season 1, but it's actually the 4th season of THL running. We've been
Yeah.
working out a lot of kinks along the way, and one of the things that we've actually pretty much agreed on works is our PR system over time.
Yes.
But one of the difficult things to accommodate is these new players that come in who could end up being um, better than their starting PR suggests. So something that we've decided to do is to accelerate the rate at which a PR will change for a new player. Um, Effectively, what this will do is help you settle where you belong quicker.
Mhm.
Um, you know, so that in your case, that 5 seed player that's actually better than they are claiming to be, odds are they'll kick some ass in the 5 seed and soon get moved up to the 4. And if they're really that good, get moved up to the 3 till eventually they start losing. And hopefully within the same season that they join or shortly thereafter, they land where they need to land.
Mhm.
Yeah. So basically, that player's PR is going to change twice as high or twice as low as it would normally. And so generally, when a player wins a match, their PR changes by about 10. It goes up by about 10. So if
Mhm.
a brand new player goes, we'll say we had a 6 week season, they went 5-1. I mean, that's a dominant season, and that's a sign that that player's probably little over budgeted in their slot.
Mhm.
And so going 5-1 would raise a PR by about 40 under the current system, which if a number 5 seed goes from 110 to 150, their PR still puts them at a 5 seed. But under the new system, with if that doubles, if a player were to go 5-1, and we're going to double their PR rate over their first 10 matches. So it's not just their first season; it could be their first season and playoffs, or a tournament, or whatever. But their first 10 THL sanctioned matches will get double PR. If a player goes like 5-1, you're going to see I mean, almost like a 100 PR change. And so that guy who came in at a 150, quote unquote, all of a sudden he's at a 250, and that team is going to have to lose him next season. And again, if you value continuity, screwing over the system really isn't in your best interest.
Right. So if you compare this one with the alongside the lowered PR cap, I mean this is 10 matches that takes place for this before this acceleration ends. But before those 10 matches are over, we're probably through a season already. So like the acceleration in the PR, it'll become noticeable within the cap if they're winning a lot, if they're clearly, improving and really proving themselves to be higher than what they originally came in, then a lot more is going to get figured out sooner with what might be relatively unknown players, especially players who come in the league and then maybe, hey, say you become part of this great team who helps you out a lot, coaches you on ladder, you become such a better player, then you may walk out at the end of the season, just a completely different player
Mm-hmm.
overall. So, yeah.
So it should adjust.
I said, yeah.
No, I'm just once again responding to chat here. So as long as the solution becomes solved, Cardinal, we don't think that in that immediate time it'll have that great of an impact that we can't get the season back under control. You always have players that have been a member of the league that make improvements in the offseason or come
Mhm.
back in and really rededicate themselves to the game. And, you know, it's something that happens with both new and old players.
Yeah.
So,
And the other issue Cardinal raised was people lying about like their ladder.
mhm,
Um, Two things will clear up. I've heard it discussed that your initial PR is built on your highest ladder finish. That is
yep.
not true. Your
Oh.
initial PR is built on the highest number you have ever seen in ranked play mode. And so, like when I joined THL, I had gotten to rank 1 on the back of Undertaker Hunter. I was a scrub at the time, but I got into rank 1. That season, I finished like 4 because I tilted like the day I wanted to hit Legend. Shocking. And when I entered THL, I entered rank 1. Now I didn't finish rank 1, but that is how that goes. And then honestly, I guess I'll just say this on behalf of like most of us in THL. If your goal is to cheat the system to win a THL championship, like you should probably reevaluate your life priorities because a leather card holder is not worth cheating over a bunch of cool dudes in a gaming community. And if it is, you can probably just pound rocks. So don't do that. And if that happens, if like giant issues happen, I guess the board can sort them out. But we're trusting everybody because it's a fun amateur type of gaming league. So please treat it as such.
Yeah, one of the greatest rewards, I think anybody in chat that's been a member of this league will tell you is this. It's what we do as a community. It's hanging out in Discord together all day. It's
Mm-hmm.
posting the dank memes. It's the guys you meet through this that you don't expect to actually enjoy spending time with, and you do. You find yourself like Team Rank 5 just living in your little lobby on Discord, enjoying one another's presence. And these guys didn't know each other before the THL, and now they probably spend more time with each other than they do with people in real life. We are all
Yeah, it's
pathetic.
really sad.
But the
It's a
greatest
good
thing you
thing.
get out of this league is the people you meet and the good times you have. So if you're trying to cheat to win the title, you're missing the point of being in this league. Don't get me wrong, we all want to win,
Oh, we all want to win, but
but
I
none
mean,
of us want to cheat to get there.
yeah, it's and if you
Unless,
do, find a new league because
yeah,
you're just not really worth our time.
yeah, feels, man. Indeed, Twist. And the last PR change, and then we'll stop hitting you with rules. But the reason this is important is because, outside of 4 teams, we're all in the off season now. I can tell you right now, I've already got my eyes on people. Captains are out there reaching out. You free agents that keep posting, how do I get involved? Now is the time to do it.
Yes.
And knowing what your value is important to marketing yourself to teams. Um, so one of the issues we've had with new legend ranked players coming into the league is knowing whether they're Cassidy level legends or whether they're Dear Jason level legends.
Jesus.
Wow.
So,
That's Secret Paladin, man.
did they get there on the back of Undertaker Hunter, or did they, actually play real decks to get up there? I have never reached legend, so I can sit here and talk shit about all the legend players I want because I'll be joining your ranks this month. This is my month to do it. I've said it here, so now it's real. But there's definitely a difference once you get up there between the cream of the crop and then those who live in the dumpster. And to help accommodate for players like Yuri and Katoda, and I'm missing so many people, I think we knew what we were getting into when Dear Jason came into the league. But those guys that Alec and you guys know who you are. You high 450 plus legend players.
Yes.
Um, so to accommodate for that, brand new untested legend players coming into the league will carry a 50-point penalty to them. Captains, you're aware of whether or not this penalty applies to you. I'm not going to go into the depth of those rules. Just for players to know what they're worth.
Oh, we
However,
can mention it pretty quick if you want.
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you take it, Cassidy?
So we noticed an issue where, like, especially with brand new teams come in, they bring in 450 players. We know nothing about any of them, and then they go on to be some of the best players in the league. And we've had that. And while we agree it's definitely good to get new players in the league, again, back to the point earlier, we want to make sure we're bringing in players of all levels into the league and not just legend players. And so the idea here is that a brand new legend, so somebody who's brand new to THL, has a 450 PR because they've made legend in the past. If they are joining an already existing team, so if they want to join Entropy, if they want to join the Filthy Role Players, if they want to join Team Rank 5, they're going to count against 500 of the PR cap. But we're not going to punish them by giving them a super high PR. We're just going to make them count that much of the cap. So their PR will be 450, but your team will give up 500 cap points to sign them. The only exception to this rule is that if you are a brand new team, you get one waiver in this department. So if you're a player and you're trying to start a team in THL and you're like, look, man, I need to sign a ringer. I'm only like a 410 PR. I need somebody above me. You get to sign one guy who's a brand new legend player at 450, and you won't have any penalty against you. Now, if you want to sign another one, that second guy is going to cost 500. But we want to make sure new teams aren't completely disadvantaged and they are allowed to go out and find their ringer. But when we envisioned THL originally, we envisioned like the 2 seed being somebody who is a legend caliber player, but they're not finishing, top 100 legend every season. And so we want teams to kind of build from within and get better together rather than just cutting the roster and signing the best players they can every season. And so we're hoping this rule kind of enforces that and then still also encourages growth. So new legend players cost 500. If you're a new team, you get to waive that one time. Basically, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and and eventually these players who are new and who do come in saying that they've been legend before, their real PR will get figured out. They won't always have that extra assigned to them. They just need to get figured out a little bit.
Yeah,
and we also want a disincentive, like the ego trips that happen if somebody who has been rank 1 and says, "Oh, I want to say I've made legend, so I find a team quicker." Like that's a very understandable point of view if you're a new player coming into a league like this, and we kind of want to make sure people are reporting the honest truth, and we want to welcome players
Mhm.
of all skills. So
Once
if we
again,
make the legends more expensive, you're more likely to say, "Hey, no, I've made rank 2." And I actually have made rank 2. And you as a captain, last point, make sure you're interviewing these guys and playing with these guys and, trying them out, quote unquote. Like, don't just sign a guy because he claims he's done something. Like, do your homework.
yeah.
And
Definitely.
this new rule definitely will reward those who do their homework, and it'll punish those who don't. And that's also a goal because we want captains to make meaningful decisions.
So if you end up with the guy that claims to be legend but his highest finish on ladder is rank 12, that's your fault for not doing the research.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
now, in the same regards, I'm actually really pumped about this rule that a lot of people might not understand, but being a 5 seed player, I love that it exists.
Oh yeah.
Um, is we're also going to make a minimum. We have a maximum. No player could go over 500. So no matter how many times Katoto whoops our ass, um, he's never going to go any higher than 500, at least for now. We could look at that in the future. But we're also going to have a minimum low. Um, so we're going to make it so that every 5 seed player, the lowest you could be is a 100. You cannot cost your team any less. Um, and why this is important is because it actually creates an environment where you want to find the best 5 seed player you can. With allowing PRs to go as low as possible, I could get a friend that's never played Hearthstone before, bring him into the game. He comes in at a rank 22. He cost my team 50 points, and I coach him to be the next Jesus C. You know, uh, so it keeps this race to the bottom from happening. It makes
Mm-hmm.
sure that there's value on your 5 seed player, and with there being value on the 5 seed, hopefully there'll also be value on the 4, and it should have kind of like a cascading effect, which is the ultimate goal between all these PR changes we're making is to value every seat into. We have some great free agents that are super active on the forum between ranks 5 and 14 that need to find a home. And a lot of these changes are geared towards making sure that you guys get to be a part of a team and part of this league. I think that explains that. Unless you guys had anything you want to add to that.
Nope, sounds good. I think people
Yeah.
get the gist of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's good. The whole race to the bottom thing is very bad, I
very
think.
very bad, very
This
bad.
this
Or if you're going to do that, you're going to pay for it, and you're going to lose at that slot. And
Yeah.
and like the beauty of THL is the 5
Right.
seed matchup scores as many points as the 1 seed matchup, and
Yep.
you as a captain again have to decide how you want to play your chips in that regard.
Right. We have a maximum, now we have a minimum.
Absolutely.
That
So
costs something. There's some risk involved.
Yeah, you can't sign a player with a 60 PR in order to sign two 500 PRs.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but 500 is an artificial cap. Like, there's a hidden PR for players at 500, and their PR is higher than that. Like, we've had instances where a 500 PR player has lost, and they're still at 500, and the
I think
reason is there's a hidden cap there, and so
I
we'll
think
be just like that on the other end of the spectrum.
I think I'm good there for a little while now.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think you are.
is Slimsh finally tooting his own horn? I mean, it's much
I mean,
deserved.
it's all I
but-
Slimsh is in THL Legend, where he can lose and not lose his rank.
That's what I got now.
So with that crap being covered, let's get to what's become one of my favorite parts of. Oh man, I fucked up the Twitch chat again. So we're not gonna be able to have the chat visible. Where we stuck with the beautiful playoffs screen there that I'm not a part of.
You want to plug Discord real quick too?
Yeah. So I was gonna get to that at the end. I was gonna.
Oh, okay, at the very end. All right, Q&A then.
Yeah, I was
Jeez,
gonna go
Cassidy,
into. I was gonna go into
spoilers.
the Q&A.
Ah,
Jeez, but now that you brought it up, I'm gonna mention it. God, you ruined everything. So, for
Everything.
those of you who have not been part of the greatness that has been Discord over the past couple days, what initially started as an idea brought up by, I'm not even gonna try to remember who brought it up. I just know it was quite a few people.
Killajive was the very first person to mention Discord. Shout out to Killajive.
All right, so Killajive brought this up to us. It's an app. It's both browser based, desktop based, phone based, like any device you got, you could get Discord for it. We have chat channels, voice chat channels. We have text chat channels. We have a place just for Bruntz's dank memes. Um, we have lobbies for teams to hang out and coach, as you've heard us refer to. Team Rank 5, who has used Discord, has shown up, has been there. We created a space for them to hold their team practices while still being able to text chat with the
Yeah,
rest of the league.
we can type with everybody.
I think the most we've had at any one time so far was 40 unique people on chatting and talking, all THL related, throughout the whole time. So if you and your team want to get on there, find your own place to move a futon into. I'm actually going to straight up just link the Discord invite in here.
Do it.
I have the ability to reject you if I don't want you to be a part of it. So that goes to you, Lemur. But for everybody else, please come join us. It's a lot of fun. I've got to talk to some people on there I've never talked to before that have been part of the THL for a while. And it's been a real cool place to just hang out and vibe. The one thing I will ask is that in the main text channel, you don't drop the dank memes. The dank memes have their own place.
There is a channel for dank memes, and we also want to point out that dank memes, as dank as they are, they've been clogging up the Facebook page a little bit, just a little bit. And we have a dank meme channel in Discord. And how about we filter them through there? And if they're really, really good, maybe we'll have like a weekly dank meme thread on Facebook where we can share them. But Viride's face is great. I don't need to look at pictures of Viride's face every time I get onto Facebook. So let's use Discord for the more, I don't know what, the frat house kind of stuff. And remember that new and aspiring players are also checking out our Facebook page. And so we want to make sure we're airing a little sense of professionalism there because we do want to grow as a league. So use Discord to go dank. Use Facebook to discuss like legit, league things, and you guys will figure out the balance.
Yeah, and not only that, but for on top of the frat boy cut and loose stuff, Slimsh has done quite a bit of coaching on there, and there are quiet places on there for you guys who are ladder climbing, looking for some coaching. So on and so forth. There's places for whatever your need is. We got a spot for you on Discord, and even if we don't have one, we can make one for you. We have a deck exchange, the Legend chat. I know you guys got one on Facebook already, but there's another one that's for those of us that weren't invited that will hit Legend this season. So come check it out, be a part of it, especially if you're a free agent. I've already met a couple cool free agents in there. Be another one of those cool free agents that I get to meet. So, not you stole that thunder. Can we go to the Q&A now?
Yes.
Jeez, this guy.
I like to end on Q&A because, I'm starting to get a little tipsy and I don't want to do other things while I'm tipsy.
My cup and my throat have both been dry for a minute here. What up, Hambowen? I saw that he got in here. It's the first time I see him say anything. All right, so what's the first question? The first question, by the way, I couldn't find last week's thread for the Tavern Talk that never happened, but I know there was some good questions in there. If you were one of those people, Eli, I think you had like 2 I wanted to ask from that thread. If you were one of the people that posted in that thread, if you could find it on Facebook and bump it for me so that I could grab some questions from there, that'd be awesome. Until then, we'll work with the questions from this week's thread. This question brought to us from Mr. DeTrucci, who I think is like 9 for 9 with bringing us a question, or however long we've been doing the Q&A. Goes to Slim Schmosley. With Harry Boys being alpha winners and Gosu being the beta winners, that rivalry has always been there. But where does the Harry Generals rank in your rivalry list now that they knocked you out of the playoffs?
Oh, feels bad, man. I mean, I didn't play much in season alpha as a real player, but I like looking back sometimes and looking at those old teams that are still around, and I'm proud to be part of one. So I don't know. I think this rivalry is probably right on top there. Just because there's not that many teams that have been around forever, really, that have won championships in seasons back to back, and I mean we got knocked out by them here, so I don't know. It's definitely building a lot. A lot of the players on these teams have remained consistent throughout each season. I think Gosu has had a consistent 3 out of 5 from alpha to now. Yeah, I think that's right, and I think it's pretty. It's 2 or is it even 3 for the Harry Generals? Did they always have Detrucci, Necro, and Jedi? I'm not sure. I don't know. There's a lot of history there, so I think the rivalry is given, and
I know that
it's
Eric
a
and
fun one.
Jedi have been tight for a long time, so
Yeah.
even if they weren't teammates, they were always close. Is there any team for you, Slimch, that kind of has? I mean, we all know the way Entropy feels about Archon Storm and how that rivalry goes. Is there anybody for Gosu that you have that same venom for, that same just desire to crush when you see you're lined up against them?
I don't know. It's mainly due to recent events, but it's kind of Xenergy. I think we run into them quite a bit, and I don't know. I just look forward to them so much more now, especially after having played with Katoda in the All Star League.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just a lot of interesting things that have developed over time. I look at Xenergy whenever we run into them.
What about you guys over there at Team Rank 5, Cassie? You guys got your own dragon you
Um,
like to slay
no,
there?
I don't think we have a rivalry. Personally, I'm all about getting better all the time, and so I want to I have a rivalry with trying to beat players that have beat me, especially like badly. And so I swear, man, I had Yuri on the ropes week 1 this season, and then both of my Doom guards and Zoo were in like the bottom 7 cards, and that scarred me. And so I really want to beat him once. I'd love to beat Mr. Slimshear once. Um,
Aw,
I don't
I'll
know. I
slay
just
you.
really like to get better at Hearthstone. I hit Legend for the first time this season. I like playing against people. Mike Dubs is saying, Mange is saying here, he loves to play against pure strategy. I agree because our teams match up so well PR wise that it definitely feels like the best players just win, but it's also like a worthy opponent in every slot based on PR.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be one. I think we like to just win and we like to keep proving people wrong and getting better, both individually and as a team. So next year we're gonna want to beat Gosu, we're gonna want to beat Zenergy, we're gonna want to beat the teams we didn't beat this time, etc.
Yeah, I like that. I like that answer. The about getting better and looking at specific players. Um, the rest of what you said, I'm not gonna lie, I only listened to half of because I got an interesting message while
That's fine, man.
while you were talking. But I'm sure great input, Cassidy. I'm
So
sure it was top
distracted.
notch, top form. All right, this one's coming from Randy. Um, how do you think? And this is actually great. I love this question. How do you think the amount of information available, for example, streams, VODs from this season and past seasons, of a player affect their win percentages? Do you think there's a correlation between the quote unquote top teams being streamed more and the amount of upsets last week? I'll let one of you guys take this one.
I could start.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is something that I was actually concerned with in the beginning of the season because I had decided to start streaming just personally. Um, I didn't know it at the time, but I never end up laddering with decks that I take into the league. Now that I think about it, but I know part of me was concerned that I was going to have information out there. Not only just getting streamed within these casted matches, but also just generally speaking, are my opponents going to have too much information to look me up? So I talked about it with my captain a little bit because I don't know. I didn't want to do anything to bring down the team. I didn't want to leak any information, but I don't know. It worked okay for me. I was also streamed on Salty Saturday 2 times. That worked out okay for me. So I don't know. I take it with a grain of salt. I wouldn't be too paranoid about it. Everyone's out there doing their research, but if you can just try and be a little flexible and keep people guessing, then I think you'll be fine. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's too big of a deal, but it's definitely something you consider. You should be somewhat careful, but don't let it scare you too much.
Um, I will say this out of the amount of information available and do I think it helps to be able to look up your opponent? Yeah. But I'll also say that as somebody who's been streamed quite a bit, the input you get from um, especially if you're a lower level player like myself who's trying to improve, getting feedback from guys like Verde and Cassie and Slimch and those who cast this, um, definitely valuable. And to be honest, I'm not gonna throw anybody else under the bus. But captains get the information on you whether you want us to or not. There's behind the scenes game film being exchanged. Even if I can't watch you being played, I know what classes you brought, and I know generally what kind of archetype you brought. We find the information out one way or the other. At least the good captains do. Um, some might argue that good captains would not be giving away scouting reports, but you know what? We like to win. So,
Oh, actually, Jack sucks. If you were done there,
mhm.
for this question's interesting for me for you to answer because you've streamed on maybe 3 different occasions now. Not not you being like you haven't been streamed. You were the one time with on Salty Saturday, but you've streamed your own matches with you there playing them live, well on a delay, but you there going through your thought process and everything. Like
Yep.
it was all fleshed out there. Did you ever have any concerns with that?
No, because I do stupid shit like bring Beast Druid. So what?
You
you know,
can't predict him.
you know what I mean? Like, is there validity to saying I shouldn't be showing? Yeah, man. Like, I understand it's a risk I'm taking. I'm putting it out there, but um, that process of talking really helps me understand plays,
Hmm.
and especially if I have people in the chat who I apologize when I'm streaming. I don't typically pay attention to chat. I'm probably trying to pay attention to the game, but I do love in between games going back and reading people's responses to my thought process. And I find it to be very beneficial. So I feel like my overall gain as a Hearthstone player is better for getting that feedback. Well, it might make me weaker in the THL from week to week if there are people out there that can actually find some sort of pattern to my random stupidity. Um, but ultimately, I like to switch it up. And I kind of feel like the one deck that I do stay consistent with and play a lot is a deck that's been around for a while and tends to be played the same way, no matter who's playing it. Um, so, I mean, if I could bring something interesting and different, I try not to stream it. I try to keep it hidden until the day of the game. So, to make a novel out of a short story, no, I don't really think it hurts me as much as I get a benefit from getting the feedback from the guys that hang out in chat.
Hmm.
So moving on. And by the way,
Wait,
Eric, I got it. We're good to go. Don't worry, I will get that in.
did
I don't.
Cassidy have anything to say? Bible fan?
I just know at Team Rank 5 we look at VODs, and I don't think we are the smartest team in the league, so I'm pretty sure that's happening everywhere else. But in our format especially, like saying, oh, this guy played Handlock in week 3 when he was up 2-0 and knew he had to beat a priest. Like, you know that's going to happen. And I think the beauty of being able to play flexible classes like Handlock, like Hunter, like Mage, like Druid. I mean, what class in Hearthstone isn't outside of Shaman at this point? It definitely opens up options. And the better players are going to tech against possible options and make decisions within the match against those options. And sure, data is available, but that data is always jaded. Like, if we played specific deck lists, I would know, okay, so and so plays Freeze Mage, he brought Freeze, I'm going to put Kazan in my deck. Versus, okay, he's up 2-0, I have Druid left, he's probably just going to run Mech Mage into my Druid and win the match. And that's kind of the difference in what we have going on. So, I try to stay off stream, not for that reason, but because I play worse on stream, like when Mange beat me and I was scarred for life. But otherwise, I don't think it's that big of a deal. No,
Plus, guys, it's a lot of fun to watch streams.
it
So
definitely is.
don't be timid in being streamed, please, because I mean, Salty Saturday has become a staple of my weekend. Don't take
And
that
you
away
could
from me.
end up having like the best casted moment ever, like Mange did with Ragnaros when I called that action on the spot.
Best.
I have never seen a
Best.
meme about that ever.
I don't
Best.
think I will ever do better as a caster than right there.
So moving forward from an awesome moment in THL history. Um, so, what are some ideas for awards like MVP awards that you guys have? This is coming from Grim, who is always a solid go-to for a question each week. Maybe just briefly mention um, the
God.
slew of awards we have in the off season. Well, we have what did we decide on, guys? Something like 8 or 9 that we're
We
narrowing
There's quite
down.
a few.
we have
There's
so
quite a
many
few.
awards, and if you're into sports, like we got some awards based from that. Like there's going to be a rookie of the season. There's going to be a bounce back or most improved. Actually, I think there's both, like a comeback player and a most
Hmm.
improved.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout. I don't want to tease it any more than that because that's like 3 out of our like 7 or 8 right there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a couple awards based on teams, and then we're also gonna have an award that the community is gonna vote on. So I think once we announce the awards that we have come up with as a THL board and voted on, and like some of them were really close. I think when we announce those, we'll also announce the award that you guys will vote on, and that'll be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout; those are coming in the off season. Um, if your team is out of the playoffs, you may still get some recognition that you deserve, et cetera, et cetera. But we have a lot of awards coming for you, not just the MVP like before.
Right.
So, just pulling. I know this is kind of cold calling you guys here, but
It's okay.
Eli hooked us up with the old thread for the Q&A,
What
and
a hero.
not to spend too much time on it. Not trying to make the show too long, but there are a couple here I did want to address because I think they are um, awesome. And if you don't know it by now, um, a question coming from Grim, and we spent a little time working on this um, last week. We mentioned it a little bit here tonight. I just want to pin it down again. Uh, when should free agents and/or teams start looking for people? Honestly,
It's
if your team is out of this
yep,
season and you haven't already started doing it, you're an idiot because
yeah,
I'm getting everybody.
because you have a leg up on the teams that are still playing, especially those that are over the PR cap and know they're going
Hmm.
to have to make changes. So do as much as you can now. But again, keep in mind you don't know who's going to come available in the future. So you kind of have to weigh that. Like, is this my guy? Do I want to sign him right here and now? Do I want to wait and see what Archon Storm does with their roster in the offseason, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
So
But at the
if you're a
same,
free agent, you want to be making yourself known right this second because there's a lot of
Right.
captains that value getting their roster set way ahead of time.
If you
not only that.
remember,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Slimsh.
oh yeah, it was not too far from when like the period of even picking up free agents was over that a guy named Sam popped along the Facebook page randomly from
Yep.
Cassidy's recommendation, and he found a team real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I
uh,
know there were a lot of teams that wanted to talk to him that had already set their roster. So sometimes it does
yeah,
pay to be patient. Or if you want to get creative and you want to recruit, like hit up Reddit or the competitive Hearthstone Reddit, or you want to pop into their TeamSpeak and start talking to people. Maybe you have that 500 PR available and you want to make sure you sign the best possible player. It wouldn't always hurt to look outside and do some recruiting on your own. So
No, that's for sure. Here's a great point in time for me to drop a bomb that I've been looking to drop all night, and I purposely chose that question and the follow up question of what is Tavern Talk going to be doing in the off season? There's tons of stuff we're going to be doing, but one of the things we're going to be doing is an off season signing special where we're going to talk about free agents that are still out there looking for a team, free agents that have landed on a team. Um, and I have one of the biggest signings of the offseason. I want to go ahead and break hearts right here and now, live on stream.
oh,
You guys can stop sending Mr. NACL invites.
I literally just whispered him.
He is officially sitting in currently the 2 spot on Team Entropy. So kudos to Salt for finding himself a home with a captain who loves
PogChamp.
him. So gonna just go ahead and pop the collar. Gonna get all comfy here and just sit back and let you know that just happened. I will also tease this, and it will be officially released on our official THL Tavern Talk off-season show. But he's not my only major lockdown. Jedi is not bullshitting you when he tells you I stole all your prospects.
Yep.
So tune in for future Tavern Talks to find out who that second player is I've locked down. Sorry, I just got really excited about that. Also, Slims, I think that you don't you have something?
Ooh, it's gotta wait. It's gotta wait. I found out today. It's gotta wait.
It's gotta wait.
It's
Okay,
coming though.
it's gonna be
It's
good.
coming. I have some things that need to be done behind the scenes first.
Wow. So
Can't
now
be
you've got
exposed
even
quite
me
yet.
guessing what's going on, and that's. Can we say that that will also be released on the official Tavern Talk off-season show?
Oh yeah, it's got to be by then.
Oh wow, that's something else to look forward to. Cassie, I don't suppose you have some big off-season news, do you?
Oh god.
My only off-season news is that um, I will not be available as a free agent.
Wow,
I
that's like
love.
the first time ever.
Wow.
It is the first time ever that I am not switching teams in the off season. I love my dudes at Team Rank 5. Somebody's got to keep Imbolc unleashed. And
And you're the
if I'm
man to
not
do it.
there, Mange is going to leash him right back up and stick him in the doghouse. So I
Call
got to be there
Cheetah.
to do that. I do have news because we never got to this before. We mentioned in an earlier show that we are going to be playing a show match against Vicious Syndicate as THL. And you guys voted in Facebook for our 3 All Stars. And we had one All Star who could not make it. So we had to bring in a reserve who was the next highest vote getter. And our 3 that are playing on that team is our very own bearded beauty Slimsh, season Kappa MVP Clark Kent, and previously called the best player left in this season's playoffs, Katoda. So those are going to be your 3. Give them your energy. That match is happening on January, I believe January 16th is what I was told.
Yeah.
The
So
graphic, I know you guys can't see it, but I actually have Eric's beautiful poster saying right smack over all of our faces right now
Oh
with
baby.
all the info on that um, up front and center. Yeah, so that's going to be January 16th at 9 o'clock, which it just so happens to be a salty Saturday time. So you guys already have that scheduled into your lives to be there with us on that
and
night.
we'll be salty on that Saturday.
Oh, super salty. This is guys, this is a great opportunity for us to branch out into the Hearthstone community, and um, you know, the dudes over at Vicious Syndicate are awesome. So we need to come out in full force that night and support not only ourselves but them and the continued partnership between the two organizations
Oh
moving forward.
man. It's
You
gonna
know,
be so good. That Vicious Syndicate's legit. I'm gonna need all the power of THL for a spirit bomb.
yeah. Salt's saying that Demigod is currently top 10 legend. So you
Well
know,
then.
he
And Mr. Unleashed himself has beaten him in an ESL. So feels good, man.
feels good.
I've run
THL
into him on
represent.
ladder at least 5 times. Come on. I don't know how many I won, but
But you've seen him.
Oh,
Uh,
and they'll be playing the ATLC format that we played in the All Star event in the off season. Thanks
right,
for the
yeah.
reminder, Jedi.
Brunson's misguided as usual.
yeah, that's often the case. You know, just keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Brunson
Goes
is
with the character.
often misguided.
The dank memes they'll cloud your mind, man.
All right, so what am I forgetting here? What is THL doing in the off season? Address that. What are free agents doing? Address that. Um, yeah, I think that's all the questions we have for tonight. Other than one last thing I wanted to bring up, and this is the question I want to end it on, unless you guys saw something else in chat
Ooh.
that piqued your interest. So I'm going to give Slimsh a second to look or whoever a second to look over chat while I bring this up again, because I am a poorly prepared host. And all right. So the question coming from Mr. Josh Sampson.
Oh yeah.
What are the goals for Tavern Talk as a show over the course of 2016 as its own separate identity from the THL? To be honest, I don't know if the two can ever truly separate. Um,
No,
as
we are the official recap show.
yeah,
Kappa,
but we do have goals here, just
Kappa.
like Jedi.
grinning man.
Just like Jedi has his goals for THL as a league. Definitely, I have goals for Tavern Talk as a show. And as I introduced last time we had a show, we have started a Patreon, which for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a way for us to sell out and try to earn some money doing what we're doing.
Got
Uh,
that bookmarked.
off the first show, with only a couple, like 3 donors or something like that. The response was awesome. And I know there's a few people who are waiting for payday. I know payday's come and gone. We had a 2-week break. I still don't see your patronage on the site. But one of the things we'd like to do here on Tavern Talk is get you guys involved more. Have more events, have more giveaways, have more things to contribute back to this community. And one of the best ways that we can get that done is by upping our production, having prizes to give away at the end of a tournament. Are we looking to team up with our buddy Mange, who's going to be running some awesome off-season tournaments? I'm hoping they become a regular thing every week, even during the season, because there's never enough Hearthstone out there for us. So that is the future and the mission of Tavern Talk, is to continue to bring us together every Thursday night, to continue to bring you the most up-to-date information we can on the THL. And I don't know if I ever see the two standing as separate entities. We are the THL. We would not exist without the THL. So make sure you click on that link, give me some money, and I'll turn right back around and give that money to you, because that's how this works.
Show me the money.
With that first donation, that money is actually already out of my wallet. And I just haven't decided when it's going to be yet, but there's going to be another tournament. I don't know if it's going to be a joke tournament, because those are a lot of fun, or if we're actually going to do something serious for maybe free agents. I don't know. But the money will be used towards the prize pool of that tournament. So click on that link. Click on that link again. I put it in there one more time.
Me too.
So with that being said, the moment that I hate every week, tier. Mr. Slimsh, your parting thoughts for all of our friends here this evening?
Best of luck for teams remaining in the playoffs. I'm not going to favor RNGesus for anyone. He's only in my prayers for me and my teammates specifically, so I'm really looking forward there. Yeah, I hope we see some really good matches. I mean, there's only 4 teams left, right? We can get every single one of these games streamed, can't we?
We could try. It's really up to those playing.
I think we can. Well, okay. I see Cassidy's reservations, and I understand. Okay. Well, we'll see. So anyways, I mean, these past few weeks, we've had kind of different Tavern Talks. This is like the most regular one that we've had in a while, so I've been really happy about that. I miss them a lot. I don't know. I just look forward to it so much fun.
Oh, all the feels.
Recap all this goodness. Yeah, all the feels every time. You know.
Nah, I feel you. Cassidy, your parting thoughts for the week, sir.
Great to be here as always. I am drunk, but that's the goal.
Mission accomplished.
That's the goal with Tavern Talk. I apologize if I said anything too out of the ordinary, but yeah, good luck to everybody except the Harry Generals, because we want to win, and hopefully we will see Zenergy or Noob Central in the finals for an epic matchup. Thanks for tuning in, though, guys. You're the best.
I think Cassie just summed up as best as it could be summed up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next week with the shakedown for the finals. And who knows, maybe something fun will go on. I don't know. It's Tavern Talk. It's Thirsty Thursday. Anything can happen. May your Friday not be too foggy, and we'll see you all at Salty Saturday.
May